Hey guys, this is AJ from AJ's Adventures, and happy Star Wars Sunday. Today's fanfic will be What If Anakin Never Turned to the Dark Side. I don't know if it's going to compare to What If Plagueis Killed Palpatine, but let's do this! It was a critical moment in the galaxy as the Clone Wars raged on. Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, stood before his mentor and friend, Obi-Wan Kenobi. The two Jedi had just completed a mission to rescue Chancellor Palpatine from the clutches of the Separatist forces. As they made their way back to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, Anakin's mind was troubled. He had begun to question the Jedi Order and their teachings, feeling frustrated with their rigid absence to their code, with their rigid adherence to their code. Obi-Wan noticed his Padawan's unease and spoke up. "Anakin, I sense that something is troubling you. What's on your mind?" Obi-Wan asked. Anakin hesitated for a moment before responding. "I don't understand why we have to follow the Jedi Code so strictly. We are supposed to be protectors of the galaxy, but sometimes it feels like we are just following rules without any room for flexibility." Obi-Wan nodded in understanding. "I know it can be frustrating at times, but the code is there for a reason. It's what keeps us from falling to the dark side." Anakin sighed. "But what if there was another way? A way to use the Force without being so restricted?" Obi-Wan placed a hand on Anakin's shoulder. "I know it may seem limiting, but trust me, it's for the greater good. The dark side is a path that leads to destruction and chaos." Anakin nodded, still deep in thought. As they entered the temple, Anakin received a message from Padme Amidala, his wife. "Anakin, I have some news. I'm pregnant." Anakin's eyes widened in surprise and joy. "That's wonderful news, Padme. I can't wait to see you and celebrate." As Anakin walked towards the exit, Obi-Wan caught up to him. "Anakin, remember that our duty as a Jedi comes first. We must always put the needs of the galaxy before our own personal desires." Anakin smiled. "I know, Master. I won't let anything cloud my judgment." And with that, Anakin left the temple, filled with hope and determination to uphold the Jedi Code. The galaxy continued to face challenges, but with Anakin's steadfast dedication to the light side of the Force, he played a crucial role in bringing peace and balance to the galaxy. Would Anakin tell Obi-Wan he was married to Padme and they were going to have children? In this scenario, Anakin would indeed tell Obi-Wan about his marriage to Padme and their impending parenthood. As they walked through the corridors of the Jedi Temple, Anakin's mind was racing with excitement and anticipation. He couldn't wait to tell Obi-Wan about the news he had just received from Padme. "Master, I have something to tell you," Anakin said, his voice triggered with excitement. Obi-Wan raised an eyebrow in curiosity. "What is it, Anakin?" Anakin hesitated for a moment before blurting out, "I'm married, Master. Padme and I got married in secret, and we're going to have a child." Obi-Wan's eyes widened in surprise. "Anakin, this is a serious breach of the Jedi Code. You know that attachment is forbidden." Anakin lowered his gaze, feeling a pang of guilt. He knew that what he had done was against the rules of the Jedi Order, but he couldn't help his feelings for Padme. "I know, Master, but I couldn't help it. I love her so much, and I want to start a family with her," Anakin said, his voice filled with emotion. Obi-Wan sighed. "Anakin, You must understand that attachment can lead to the dark side. You must be careful and keep your emotions in check. Anakin nodded. I understand, Master, but I couldn't keep this from you any longer. I hope you can understand. Obi-Wan placed a hand on Anakin's shoulder. I understand that your heart is in the right place, Anakin, but you must be careful. The Jedi Code is there for a reason. We must follow it if we are to maintain our connection to the Force. Anakin nodded again. I know, Master. I'll do my best. With that, they continued on their way, but Anakin's mind was still reeling with thoughts of Padme and their unborn child. He knew that he had taken a risk by confiding in Obi-Wan, but he felt relieved to have shared his secret with someone he trusted. In the end, Anakin's dedication to the Jedi Order remained strong, but his love for Padme and their growing family would always be a part of him. Would Obi-Wan tell the council what Anakin told him? In this scenario, Obi-Wan would likely feel conflicted about whether to report Anakin's secret to the council or keep it to himself. However, as a Jedi, he would ultimately feel obligated to disclose the information, even if it put his relationship with Anakin, at risk. As they parted ways, Obi-Wan's mind was racing. He knew that Anakin's marriage and impending parenthood was a serious breach of the Jedi Code, and it was his duty as a Jedi to report it to the Council, but he also couldn't bear the thought of betraying Anakin's trust. After some contemplation, Obi-Wan decided to bring the matter before the Council. He knew that the repercussions of keeping the secret could be far-reaching and dangerous. Approaching the council chambers, Obi-Wan took a deep breath and entered. The council members were gathered, discussing the latest developments in the war. Master Obi-Wan, what brings you before us? Mace Windu asked. Obi-Wan bowed respectfully. I have some information that I believe the council should know. It concerns Anakin Skywalker. Alright, Aegis Adventure, sorry about that. Let's get back. The council members exchanged glances, and Obi-Wan proceeded to relay Anakin's confession about his marriage to Padme and their unborn child. This is a serious breach of the Jedi Code, Yoda said, stroking his chin thoughtfully. But tell us, what is your recommendation, Master Kenobi? Obi-Wan hesitated for a moment before responding. I recommend that we approach Anakin and discuss this matter with him directly. We must impress upon him the importance of the Jedi Code and the dangers of attachment. The council members nodded in agreement, and Obi-Wan left the chambers feeling relieved that he had done the right thing. He knew that this could strain his relationship with Anakin, but he also knew that as a Jedi, he had a duty to uphold the code and maintain the Order's connection to the Force. How would the Jedi approach Anakin? The Jedi Council would likely approach Anakin with concern. trying to understand his perspective and convince him of the dangers of his actions. They would strive to find a way to rectify the situation while also helping Anakin understand the importance of the Jedi Code. A few days later, Anakin was summoned to the Jedi Council chambers. As he entered, he saw several members of the Council gathered, including Obi-Wan. Anakin Skywalker, we have received some troubling news, Mace Windu said, his voice stern. Anakin's heart sank. He knew immediately what they were referring to. Your mentor, Obi-Wan, has informed us of your recent marriage and impending fatherhood, Yoda continued. Anakin shifted uncomfortably, feeling exposed and vulnerable. We understand that you may have strong feelings for Senator Amidala, but you must understand that attachment is a path to the dark side, Mace Windu said, his voice firm. Anakin felt his anger beginning to rise. He couldn't bear the thought of losing Padme or their child. But Master Windu, you don't understand. Padme and I love each other. We're meant to be together. Obi-Wan placed her hand on Anakin's shoulder, trying to calm him down. Anakin, we know that your feelings are strong, but you must also understand the danger that comes with attachment. The Jedi Code is there for a reason. Anakin's fists clenched in frustration. He felt like he was being backed into a corner. I understand that, Master, but I can't just turn off my emotions like a switch. I love Padme, and I want to start a family with her. The council members exchanged concerned glances. They knew that Anakin's feelings were genuine, but they also knew the risks involved. We cannot condone your actions, Anakin, but we also cannot ignore the fact that you are a valued member of the Jedi Order, Yoda said, his voice softening. We would like to work with you to find a solution to this situation. Perhaps we can help you find a way to reconcile your feelings with the Jedi Code, Mace Windu added. Anakin nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope. He knew that the situation was complicated, but he also knew that he couldn't abandon his love for Padme and their child. Together, Anakin and the council members discussed possible solutions and compromises, seeking a way to maintain the balance between Anakin's personal life and his duties as a Jedi. While it wouldn't be easy, they all knew that with patience and understanding, they could find a way forward. What would Palpatine do now that he couldn't turn Anakin to the dark side? In this scenario, Palpatine would likely be frustrated that his plans to turn Anakin to the dark side had been thwarted. However, he was a master manipulator and would likely find other ways to further his goals. As news of Anakin's marriage and impending fatherhood spread throughout the Jedi Order, Palpatine sensed an opportunity. He knew that Anakin was deeply conflicted, and he could use that to his advantage. One day, Palpatine invited Anakin to his private chambers in the Senate building. As Anakin entered, he saw Palpatine sitting at his desk, his face unreadable. Ah, Anakin, I was hoping you would come. I've heard some rather interesting news about your recent developments, Palpatine said, his tone smooth. Anakin felt a chill run down his spine. He knew that Palpatine had always been interested in his personal life, but he also knew that he couldn't fully trust the Chancellor. What do you want, Chancellor? Anakin asked, his voice guarded. Palpatine smiled, his eyes glittering with a hint of malice. I want to offer you something, Anakin. Something that I believe you've been searching for. Anakin raised an eyebrow, intrigued despite himself. And what would that be? Freedom, Anakin. Freedom from the constraints of the Jedi Order. Freedom to love and protect you. Freedom to love and protect your family without fear and retribution, Palpatine said, leaning forward in his chair. Anakin felt a surge of anger. He knew that Palpatine was trying to manipulate him, but he also couldn't help but feel a sense of longing for the freedom that the Chancellor was offering. I don't trust you, Chancellor. You've always had your own agendas, Anakin said, his voice low. Palpatine chuckled, his eyes gleaming. Of course, Anakin. But don't you see, we have a common goal. We both want what's best for you. And I have the power to give you what you want. Anakin hesitated, feeling torn between his loyalty to the Jedi Order and his love for Padme and their unborn child. He knew that Palpatine's offer was tempting, but he also knew that it could lead him down a dangerous path. I need time to think about this, Chancellor, Anakin said, his voice shaking slightly. Palpatine nodded, his expression unreadable. Of course, Anakin. Take all the time you need, but remember, I am here for you. Always. As Anakin left the Chancellor's chambers, he felt a sense of unease. He knew that he was standing at a crossroads, and that his next decision would have far-reaching consequences, but he also knew that he couldn't make that decision alone. He would need the guidance and support of those who truly cared about him. Would Anakin tell the Jedi about what Palpatine told him? In this scenario, Anakin had already confided in Obi-Wan about his secret marriage and impending fatherhood. After his conversation with Palpatine, Anakin knew that he couldn't keep this information to himself. He also knew that he needed to seek the guidance of the Jedi Council, even if it meant facing their judgment. Anakin made his way to the Jedi Temple, his thoughts racing as he tried to figure out the best way to approach the Council. When he arrived, he was immediately ushered into a private chamber where several members of the Council were waiting for him. Anakin, we have received some troubling reports about your recent activities, Mace Windu said, his voice stern. Anakin took a deep breath, steeling himself from what was to come. I have something important to tell you, he said, his voice steady. The council members exchanged a glance, their expressions guarded. Go on, Anakin, Yoda said, his voice soft. Anakin hesitated for a moment, then plunged ahead. Chancellor Palpatine has offered me a way to protect my family, to be free from the constraints of the Jedi Order. He has promised me power beyond anything I could imagine, Anakin said, his voice shaking slightly. The council members exchanged a look of shock and concern. What kind of power, Anakin? Mace Windu asked, his eyes narrowing. Anakin hesitated, then decided to tell the truth. He has promised me the power to save Padme's life. He said that he knows how to save people from death, Anakin said, his voice rising. The council members looked at each other, their expressions grave. This is a dangerous path, Anakin. You must be careful, Yoda said, his eyes piercing. Anakin nodded, feeling relieved that he had finally told the truth. I know, Master Yoda, but I had to tell someone. I couldn't keep this a secret any longer, he said, his voice steady. The council members looked at Anakin with a mixture of concern and compassion. We will help you, Anakin, but you must trust us. We will guide you through this difficult time, Mace Windu said, his voice firm. Anakin felt a sense of gratitude wash over him. He knew that he had made the right decision by confiding in the Jedi Council. He also knew that he had a long and difficult road ahead of him, but he was ready to face it with the help from his mentors and friends. Would Palpatine still tell Anakin he was the Sith Lord? In this scenario where Anakin did not turn to the dark side, it's possible that Palpatine might still reveal his true identity as the Sith Lord to Anakin, but the context of the conversation and Palpatine's motivations for doing so would be different. Assuming that Palpatine still wanted to sway Anakin to his side and turn him against the Jedi, he may have revealed his true identity to gain Anakin's trust and loyalty. However, since Anakin had already confided in the Jedi about his marriage to Padme and was seeking their guidance, Palpatine's revelation might not have had the same impact on him. In this scenario, it's possible that Palpatine might have approached Anakin with a different strategy, such as offering him power and influence within the Jedi Order, or attempting to sow seeds of doubt and distrust between Anakin and the Council. If Palpatine did decide to reveal himself as a Sith Lord, the conversation might go something like this. Anakin, I have something important to tell you, something that I have kept hidden from you for a long time. What is it, Chancellor? I am a Sith Lord, Anakin. I have been manipulating events in the galaxy for years, seeking to gain power and control, but I have always seen great potential in you, Anakin. Together, we can rule the galaxy as master and apprentice. I don't know what to say. This is about you, Anakin. You've already seen the limitations of the Jedi Order. They cannot provide you with the power and influence that you crave, but I can. Join me, and together we can bring peace and order to the galaxy. I need to think about this. Of course, Anakin, but remember, I am the only one who truly understands your potential. Don't let the Jedi hold you back. I won't forget that, Chancellor. Good. I have great plans for you, Anakin. Together, we will rule the galaxy. Would Anakin tell the Council Palpatine was the Sith Lord? In this scenario, where Anakin didn't turn to the dark side, there was a possibility that he would still reveal Palpatine's true identity as a Sith Lord to the Jedi Council. However, the context of the conversation and Anakin's motivations for doing so would be different. Assuming that Anakin was still seeking the guidance and advice of the Council, he might be more willing to reveal what he had learned about Palpatine to them. He might be motivated by a desire to protect the Jedi Order and the galaxy from the Sith Lord's influence. If Anakin did decide to tell the Council about Palpatine, the conversation might go something like this. Masters, I have something to tell you. I have something important to tell you. Something that I have recently discovered. What is it, Anakin? Alright, Ages Adventures, hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Chancellor Palpatine, he's a Sith Lord. The council members exchanged surprised looks and murmur among themselves. Sure, you are of this, Anakin. Yes, masters, he told me himself. He said that he had been manipulating events in the galaxy for years and that he saw great potential in me. This is a grave matter, Anakin. If what you say is true, then the Chancellor has been deceiving us all. I know, Masters. That's why I had to tell you. I don't want him to hurt anyone else. Worried about the safety of the galaxy, you are, Anakin. Good, this is. But sure, we must be, before accusing a Chancellor of the Republic of such a grave crime. We must investigate this matter thoroughly, Anakin. You have done well to bring this to our attention. We will need your help in uncovering the truth. Anything to help, Masters. I just want to make things right. The council members nod in agreement, and the conversation continues as they plan to their next steps in uncovering Palpatine's true intentions in stopping the Sith Lord's machinations. How would the Jedi deal with Palpatine being the Sith Lord? In this scenario where Anakin did not turn to the dark side and he revealed the truth to the Jedi Council that Palpatine was the Sith Lord, the Council would likely take swift action to confront the Chancellor and stop his plans for galactic domination. The Council would likely convene an emergency session to discuss their options and formulate a plan of attack. They might call upon other members of the Republic, such as senators and military leaders, to assist them in their efforts to defeat Palpatine and his forces. If the Jedi did confront Palpatine, the conversation might go something like this. Chancellor Palpatine, we have learned the truth about you. You are a Sith Lord, and you have been manipulating events in the galaxy for years. The Jedi have finally caught up with me. How disappointing. Deceived us, you have, Chancellor. Betrayed the trust of the Republic, you have. I have only done what was necessary to achieve my goals. The Jedi have always been too weak to do what must be done. Your plans for galactic domination end here, Palpatine. We will not allow you to continue your reign of terror. You cannot stop me, Windu. I have powers beyond your understanding. I won't let you hurt anyone else, Chancellor. I've already betrayed the Jedi once. I won't do it again. Anakin, how predictable. I should have known you would side with your masters. Enough talk, Palpatine. It's time to put an end to your schemes. The conversation would likely continue as the Jedi and Palpatine engaged in a lightsaber battle, with other members of the Republic assisting in the fight. The outcome of the confrontation would depend on a variety of factors, such as the strength of Palpatine's forces and the effectiveness of the Jedi's tactics. However, in this scenario where Anakin remained loyal to the Jedi, it's possible that the Republic would emerge victorious and Palpatine's reign of terror would come to an end. Would the Jedi kill Palpatine? In this scenario where Anakin didn't turn to the dark side and the Jedi Council learned that Palpatine was a Sith Lord, they would likely confront him and seek to stop his plans for galactic domination. Whether or not they would kill Palpatine in the process would depend on a variety of factors, such as the Jedi's principles and the circumstances of the confrontation. Jedi typically value life and seek to avoid violence whenever possible. They might attempt to apprehend Palpatine and bring him to trial, rather than killing him outright. However, in the heat of the battle, they might have beef, they might be forced to make a difficult decision and use lethal force to stop him. If the Jedi did kill Palpatine, the conversation might go something like this. Chancellor Palpatine, your reign of terror ends here. You have no choice. You have as no choice but to stop you. You cannot defeat me, Windu. I am too powerful for the likes of you. We'll see about that, Chancellor. I won't let you hurt anyone else. The Jedi engage in a lightsaber battle with Palpatine, with other members of the Republic assisting in the fight. The confrontation is intense, with Palpatine using all of his powers to defend himself and attack the Jedi. However, in the end, the Jedi managed to subdue him. It's over, Palpatine. You're under arrest for crimes against the Republic. You may have won this battle, Windu, but this war is far from over. What should we do with him, Master Windu? We will bring him in to trial and let the Senate decide his fate. We must ensure that justice is served. The Jedi would then take Palpatine into custody and bring him to trial for his crimes. The outcome of the trial would depend on the evidence and presented and the opinions of the senators. However, in this scenario where Anakin remained loyal to the Jedi, it's likely that Palpatine would be held accountable for his actions and punished accordingly. How would the Senate react to Palpatine being a Sith Lord? If Palpatine were revealed to be a Sith Lord, the reaction of the Senate would likely be shock and disbelief. After all, Palpatine had been the Chancellor of the Republic for many years, and he had presented himself as a champion of democracy and a defender of the galaxy. However, the evidence presented by the Jedi, including Palpatine's own admission of guilt, would be hard to ignore. The Senate would have to decide how to proceed with Palpatine, and the debate would likely be heated. This revelation is deeply troubling. The Chancellor is truly a Sith Lord. If the Chancellor is truly a Sith Lord, then we have been deceived for far too long. We cannot let our shock blind us to the reality of the situation. If Palpatine is the Sith Lord, then he represents a clear and present danger to the Republic. I urge caution in this matter. We must ensure that we have all the facts before we make any decisions. The Senate would debate the evidence presented by the Jedi, and will likely hear testimony from a variety of witnesses. The outcome of the trial would depend on the evidence presented and the opinions of the senators. We cannot allow a Sith Lord to continue to hold the highest office in the Republic. We must act swiftly and decisively to remove him from power. I agree, but we must also ensure that the rule of law is upheld. Palpatine must face justice for his crimes. In the end, the Senate would likely vote to remove Palpatine from power and bring him to trial for his crimes. The outcome of the trial would depend on the evidence presented. But in this scenario where Anakin remained loyal to the Jedi, it's likely that Palpatine would be held accountable for his actions and punished accordingly. In this scenario where Palpatine is removed, who would become the new Chancellor? In this scenario where Palpatine is removed from power and brought to trial, the Senate would need to select a new chancellor to lead the Republic. The decision would likely be contentious, as different senators would have different thoughts about who should take on this important role. The Republic needs a steady hand to helm in these troubled times. I nominate Senator Mon Mothma for the position of Chancellor. Senator Mothma is an excellent choice, but we should also consider their other candidates. Perhaps someone with more military experience. I agree, but we should also keep in mind the importance of civilian leadership. We don't want to appear to be militarizing the government. What about Senator Garm Bel Iblis? He has a strong record of leadership and has worked tirelessly for the good of the Republic. That's an interesting suggestion. I think Senator Bel Iblis would make an excellent chancellor. The Senate would continue to debate and discuss their potential candidates, weighing their qualifications and experience, and considering their ability to lead the Republic through these difficult times. I appreciate your confidence in me, but I believe that the Republic needs someone with more military experience at this moment. I would like to nominate Admiral Akbar for the position of Chancellor. Admiral Akbar is an excellent choice. He has proven a long record. He has a long record of service to the Republic and has shown himself to be a skilled leader. I agree. Admiral Akbar is a respected member of the military and has the leadership skills we need in this time of crisis. I support this nomination. In the end, the Senate will likely vote on a new chancellor, with Admiral Akbar, another candidate, being selected to lead the Republic forward. The decision would be an important one, as the new chancellor would need to rally the Republic and lead them to victory against the forces of darkness that threaten their very existence. Would Akbar find out about Order 66 and the other contingency orders that Palpatine had? If Admiral Akbar were selected as the new Chancellor of the Republic, he would likely be briefed on all aspects of the Republic's military and political operations, including any contingency orders put in place by Palpatine. This would be a crucial part of the transition process, as the new Chancellor would need to be fully informed about any potential threats to the Republic. I understand that Palpatine had a number of contingency orders in place. Can you provide me with more information on these orders? Yes, sir. These orders were designed to be activated in the event of a major crisis, such as a large-scale invasion or a catastrophic attack on the Republic. I see. And what do these orders entail? There are a number of different orders, sir, each with its own specific instructions. Order 66, for example, requires the immediate extinction of any Jedi who pose a threat to the Republic. Other orders include the deployment of military shields, the mobilization of military forces, and the initiation of emergency protocols. I see. These orders could be useful in a crisis, but they also have the potential to be abused. Yes, sir. That's why they were only supposed to be activated in extreme circumstances. Understood. We need to ensure that these orders are used only when necessary and that they do not threaten the basic principles of democracy and freedom that the Republic stands for. The briefing would continue as Akbar and other military political officials work to understand the full scope of the contingency orders and determine the best course of action for the Republic. The discussion would be focused on ensuring that these orders are used in a responsible and ethical manner, and that they are not allowed to be used as a tool of tyranny or oppression. Ultimately, Akbar would need to weigh the benefits and risks of these orders and decide how best to use them in defense of the Republic. Would Anakin be granted the rank of Master? Yes. In this scenario, I believe Anakin would be granted the rank of Master because of his bravery in helping to defeat Palpatine. Would Mace Windu gain his trust in Anakin? Yes. I believe Mace Windu would have Mace's trust in Anakin would be gained because Mace probably had a lot of concern and a lot of probably had a lot of optimism about Anakin, but I believe that Anakin helping them to defeat Palpatine would change Mace Windu's point of view. Would the Jedi allow Anakin to train his children? Yes, I believe Anakin would allow to train his children, and I believe the Jedi would also help in any sort of way to train Luke and Leia. Would Ahsoka still become Anakin's Padawan? Yes, I believe Ahsoka would still become Anakin's Padawan, and I also believe that Anakin and Ahsoka would prove a valuable asset to the Jedi and the Republic in their time of crisis, and I believe Ahsoka would also help in any sort of way to train Luke and Leia. Would Ahsoka know about Anakin and Padme and their children? Yes, I believe that Ahsoka would know about Anakin, Padme, and their children, and she would be a really good mentor to their, probably. What would Ahsoka think about Anakin being with Padme? I believe that Ahsoka would be in shock at first, but eventually come to understand and support Anakin. Would the Jedi and the Senate decommission the clones? I believe the Senate would not decommission the clones. I believe the Senate and the Jedi would let the clones stay and give the clones an option for retirement, but also conscript human soldiers into the Republic. So, yeah, and I believe the clones, some of the clones would retire. What would the Senate choose to do with the clones? I believe the Senate would choose to keep the clones and things like that, and like conscript human soldiers, for example. What would the Republic and the Jedi do with the Separatist leadership and the battle droids? I believe that with the Separatist leadership, the Jedi and the Republic would choose to put all the Separatist leadership on trial, including including Grievous. But with the battle droids, I believe they would have the battle droids either be used for military purposes for the Republic or be used as sanitary thing needs. But yeah, those are that was that fanfic. So right now I'll do my closing and say bye. Make sure to like, comment in the discussion tab, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!